Britain just made a deal that exemplifies the deadly foolishness of our times. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. We live in a world getting ever more dangerous, the more worrisome since World War II. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea are determined to undermine American influence and create a world dominated by ruthless, democracy-hating dictatorships. With few exceptions, especially like the Israelis, the U.S. and the free world have refused to respond responsibly to these growing threats. This inability and unwillingness to adjust to new, ominous realities was on pathetic display a few days ago when Britain announced it was turning over the Chagos Islands to the control of Mauritius, an island nation off the southeastern coast of Africa. Now, hardly anyone has heard of the Chagos archipelago, but the largest island in that chain is Diego Garcia, home to an important U.S. military base. From there, we can project air and naval power to Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and East Africa. We ran bombing missions from Diego Garcia into Afghanistan and Iraq. The base is helpful for gathering intelligence. It is a critical outpost for the U.S. in the Indo-Pacific region. We had a base agreement that ran through 2036. The British have sovereignty over the Chagos Islands, but now it is turning them over to Mauritius, which claims it should own them because Britain administered this archipelago for several years for Mauritius. But London severed that link in 1965. It gave Mauritius its independence in 1968, while maintaining sovereignty over the Chagos Islands. Nonetheless, Mauritius has made an international ruckus to put pressure on London to turn over the archipelago. The UN, no surprise, voted a few years ago to support the spurious claim. Now London is caving in. It was in an appeasement mood. London's lack of backbone was fortified by pressure from the Biden administration. The timorous Bidenites fear Mauritius would take its bogus case to the International Court of Justice, and that an adverse decision would jeopardize our base. The fear is baseless. We're not bound by that court, and Britain can declare it won't be either. Yet the Biden-Harris crowd pressured London to cave in and give the islands to Mauritius. Under the deal, the U.S. and Britain can have the base under a 99-year lease. Trouble is, Mauritius is a pal of Beijing. Only a fool thinks Beijing won't soon be engaging in electronic snooping, whatever the agreement promises. If Mauritius kicks us out, what are we going to do? Biden-Harris certainly won't be sending in the Marines. Instead, as we did in Afghanistan and with a key base recently in Niger, we'll cut and run. There's also an injustice here. Decades ago, the UK, with U.S. approval, forcibly removed the handful of people living there. They and their descendants weren't consulted on this deal. They oppose it. Why? Because they want the right to return and oppose their homeland being put under the boot of Mauritius, which is no champion of tolerance and human rights. This sorry episode only reinforces the belief of our adversaries that the U.S. is a declining power. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.